by the Investment Lab. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Sanyam Pokarna from the Investment Lab. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are well. Welcome to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of Inco Pesticides Limited. From the management team, we have with us today Mr. Sameer Dave, Executive Director, and Mr. Ashit Dave, Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer. The presentation for Q2 have already been uploaded on the stock exchange and has been emailed to you. In case anyone does not have a copy, please do write to us. Before we begin this call, I would like to remind you all that everything said on this call that reflects any outlook for the future, which can be construed as a forward-looking statement, must be viewed in conjunction with the uncertainties and risks that we face. These uncertainties and risks have been mentioned in our annual reports. With that said, I would now like to hand over the call to Mr. Ashit Dave for opening remarks, post which we can open the floor for Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the conference call. I would to quickly take you through the Q2 results which we have announced. The company has achieved revenue of 80.51 crore in Q2, and the profit after tax is 2.7 crore as compared to 1.88 crores in Q1, and sales top line of 40.18 of Q2 of last year, corresponding quarter last year. We have been able to achieve higher number of sales, mainly on account of our contract manufacturing agreement which we have in place for 3 years starting 1st April 2021. We have been able to achieve 100% capacity utilization from the month of August this year, and that has propelled these sales to a figure of 80.51 crore in the second quarter. We are not yet there as far as the profitability is concerned. The EBITDA margins have improved, but as compared to the first quarter, but we are still improving on the margins because, as explained in the earlier conversations, chemical industry, especially agrochemical industry, has suffered with lot of cost increases as far as raw materials are concerned and as far as logistics costs are concerned. We have been consistently working on passing these costs to the customers, and since our business is heavily dependent on B2B business, where we have contractual obligations for number of months going forward, so at times it becomes difficult to revise the prices with the customers, and that has caused the margins which are not yet to the mark. And we have addressed these issues with most of our customers, and Q3 onwards we expect our margins to come back to normalcy and have consistent profitability going forward. But again, we have experienced price increase of raw materials even in the month of September and October, which we have handled and we have passed on some of the cost to the customers. But going forward, it is still a subject which is very difficult to manage with very high volatility. If it was a gradual volatility, we could have made plans for that, but we are working on that. And contract manufacturing business is doing well. We are working on increasing our capacity further beyond the current capacity, and work for that will begin shortly in December, and we expect to have the additional capacity in place by June next year, so that we can even achieve higher numbers and volumes in our contract manufacturing business. With that, I feel I will prefer to answer more questions if anybody has questions on the going forward business, and we can discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star, then 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star, then 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who wishes to ask questions, please press star, then 1. The first question is from the line of Navid Virani from Bastion Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. So I have 3 questions. So first one is, sir, can you throw some light on what sort of approach are we taking as far as combating raw material inflation is concerned? So just wanted to understand our modus operandi if this inflation were to, let's say, stay for a coming few quarters or even a year. Just wanted to understand that.
So what we are doing is, we have experienced this wild swing in raw material prices, and we suffered because of that in Q4 last financial year and Q1 current year. This Q2 also, part of the Q2 we were not able to pass on fully the cost of increase of raw material. So what we have done now is, instead of contracting sale prices for 3 months or 6 months, we have brought it down to only 1 month contract pricing. We are now doing contracts for only quantities, and price is fixed only for immediate next 4 weeks of supplies, so that we are able to protect ourselves of these raw material prices going up. As far as freight cost is concerned, logistics cost is concerned, we also have worked on a mechanism by which we will be able to pass on the additional freight cost or logistics cost to the customer by agreeing to price of the product and freight cost separately. And if the freight cost increases beyond 10% of the indicated freight cost, we are able to claim additional revenue from the customer for that. So both the the factors of cost we have been able to address now. As and your question would be that why it was not done earlier, because what happens is the acceptability of such kind of different understanding also is important with the customers. Now, since the cost rise, logistics cost increase problem is there all over the world, customers also are more receptive to such kind of an arrangement, which they now understand. So we have been able to address it this way.
Right. Thank you, sir. That was helpful. So next one is on the contract manufacturing. So I just wanted to get a number. What kind of contract manufacturing sales have we done this quarter? And if you can provide the last quarter numbers as well.
The last quarter, the amount, the top line was about 12 to 13 crore rupees for contract manufacturing, and this quarter Q2 was about 20 crore rupees. Q1, April and May, we had not achieved full capacity production, so it was a gradual increase to full capacity production. So Q2 is about 20 crore, and I think it will Q3 onwards it will stabilize to somewhere around 22 to 23 crore every quarter.
Right. Right. And sir, just wanted to understand from the customer point of view. So, are our customers in the contract manufacturing businesses looking to increase quantities further?
Yes, we have had discussion, and we are looking at increased quantity for the product which we are manufacturing, and we have decided to start working on additional capacity generation, and we have put a plan in place. We will start work on that in December, and we expect to finish by June or July next year, and have the increased capacity, which will be almost additional 50% capacity.
Right. Right. So last one, just wanted to understand, are there any notable updates on the product pipeline front?
Unfortunately, I don't have any concrete update to give. We are still awaiting lot of registrations which should have come out by now, but we are still getting the same feedback from the authorities, especially from countries like Brazil, where the registrations are under evaluation, and we hope that we will be able to have something within this financial year, at least one product registration coming out, and yeah, but that's about it. This year, I don't think we will receive more than one registration.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering all my questions. All the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who would like to ask questions, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Ravi Sundaram from Sundaram Family. Please go ahead.
Hello. Sorry, my line was muted. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, congrats for the excellent set of numbers. I just have two questions. First question is, are there any one-offs in Q2 that we have to be aware about? Because I see a good spike in revenue, or is it because the contract manufacturing has catered nicely to start contributing on a recurring basis in Q3 and Q4?
One significant one-off is there in Q2 as far as profitability is concerned. We took a write-off of about 94 lakhs, about 94 point something lakhs for the revenue which we had already booked as export incentive against MEIS scheme. I will explain you what has happened. MEIS scheme was there for exporters, and we were enjoying the benefit of the scheme, which was about 2 to 3% of our export revenues, and we were booking that as an export incentive income from January 2021 till July 2021. In July 2021, Government of India came up with a new scheme, RODTEP, for export incentive, in which our agrochemical export incentive was brought down to 0.8%. So the difference, which was from January to July, which we had to write off, was about 94 lakh something. That has been appropriated in this quarter. So to that extent, the profit has been reduced.
Okay. So yeah, that is more on the other income side. So more on the revenue side, which is I think they're right now about 80 crores per Q2. Is that pattern expected to continue?
It is expected to continue, and there may be some reduction in top line because of seasonal changes. Apart from that, no major expected reduction or increase in top line for next few quarters.
Okay. I agree with the seasonality, but generally what I've seen from your numbers in the last 2-3 years is December is not a weak quarter. I mean, it continues to do better compared to Q2. Is that a fair understanding, sir?
If you compare the earlier years of top line, the one difference in this year is the contract manufacturing sale, which is contributing from quarter one. So that will, have some consistency on our sales performance now, quarter on quarter. And another difference between past years and current year is that our trading business and formulation bulk export business has come down, and we are focusing more on B2B business now. So that also has some stability in contracts and sales. So I don't think Q3 will be even significantly or anything weaker than Q2, and similarly for Q4.
So one last question, sir. Question is on margin profile. I know this is one question that we have been having with the Inco for 2-3 years now. So should we consider Q2 as sort of, I know most of the agrochem companies in this quarter had a tough time with margins. Should we consider Q2 as base from where we would continue to improve, or considering we have volatility in raw material prices even in October, should we anticipate some challenges there?
Challenges will be there, but now since we are more aware of these challenges and we have understood how to deal with these challenges, and moreover the customers all over the world, also customers have now been more receptive to such kind of price increases often because everybody is now aware of the situation. And so I'm confident that going forward we will be able to do much better in terms of profitability Q3 onwards.
Okay. Sir, one question. I mean, when can we expect Inco to maybe reach double-digit operating margins? I think right now we are at anywhere between 5-6.
That is the target, right? The double-digit operating margins. If we have a quarter in which we don't have these kind of price rises, sudden price increases, we will be able to achieve that, and that is our target. And very soon, I think you will be able to see that in our results.
Thank you very much, sir. Best wishes.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Parth Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity. So, sir, any update on the pledge renewal? I'm asking since you have almost paid off long-term borrowings and short-term borrowings must be secured against your inventories. Plus, you have decent cash position. So, on pledge?
We are working on that, and I'm very hopeful that by the end of this financial year, we will be able to remove the same. As far as debt is concerned, we are consistently reducing our debt, and we have been able to reduce our debt substantially, and we have a plan by which we will be able to remove this pledge by end of the financial year.
Okay. Second question was on there was an increase in receivables in the September balance sheet. So is it due to contract manufacturing business or something else?
I think partly it's because the sales volume has gone up. So vis-a-vis the receivables in by percentage or by volume also would go up. No significant change in our policy, but it just end of the quarter some payments must have got delayed or something. Otherwise, there is no significant change in our receivable policy or anything. Just I think because of this number.
So your current receivable policy is the receivable policy for contract manufacturing and your current policy are same, or are they different?
Same, nothing else.
Okay. Okay. Secondly, can you guide us on what is the current monthly production run rate of the plant, and what are the plans for FY 2022 in terms of increasing production run rate?
Currently, we are operating at about 350 tons per month.
Okay.
We are now planning to, which is almost at full capacity, and we are now planning to increase our production capacity to 500 tons per month, and that we will be able to achieve by June or July next year. Till that time, we will operate at this capacity.
Okay. Just a last question from my side. So can you throw some light on what would be the realization of your key products of chlorophyll and trichlor, and any change in last 1 or 2 quarters?
Both products are doing well. The one product, chlorpyrifos, has seen some price increase recently. Again, it's raw material pricing driven price increase. And but as far as demand is concerned, both the products are having very strong demand within India and in rest of the world also.
Okay. That's all from my side. Thank you, and best of luck for the future quarters.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Vidya Verma, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a couple of questions. I'd like to begin by asking that would it be safe to assume that at the current product realizations, our quarter revenue run rate will be around 80 crores, and hence annually the turnover will be close to 350 crores? Can we say that?
That is the plan, and we are looking at, the current order book volume is concerned. I'm confident that quarter 3 would be very close to this number, and quarter 4 onwards also, that is the plan. But again, we are in a business which is again dependent on seasonal ups and downs, and again depends on monsoon all over the world. So if there is no significant external change, environmental issues, we should be expecting the similar numbers going forward.
Okay, sir. Sir, also can you throw some light on how our B2C branded formulation business is doing currently? Any plans we have to ramp it up for its growth?
B2C branded formulation business has been an important aspect of our business, and we are increasing our focus on that segment also. But at the same time, we are being very cautious in growing very fast in that segment, because it involves a lot of higher working capital, and Indian agrochemical industry is very vulnerable to monsoon conditions, and this year Q2 was a difficult quarter for most of the companies selling products, branded formulation products in India. But we have been able to, since we are not very aggressively growing in that segment, we have been able to achieve higher numbers as compared to last year, even in that segment. But I would tell you that we will grow in that segment, but very slowly. We will not grow beyond. We will not have double-digit growth in that segment, because our focus is not there in that segment. Our focus at the moment is on manufacturing agrochemicals, technicals, and increasing our B2B business.
Okay. So, sir, are we planning to completely shut up the B2B formulations business then?
Formulation business, yes. We are planning to reduce it significantly, and we will continue certain markets in which the margins, gross margins and net margins are acceptable levels are there, we will continue those markets. But large volume business with very low margins, we are definitely getting out.
Okay, sir. Sir, my next question is that if you can give us an update on the earlier debottlenecking of the plant. Has that been completed yet? Where are we with that?
Yes, we have been able to complete the debottlenecking of the plant, and we are almost at full capacity production from last 2 months, and we expect the same to continue right up to March, April next year. And then we will have to take some shutdowns in the month of May or June, depending on how the progress of additional capacity building is going on. And then June or July onwards, we will have a higher capacity available to us.
Okay, sir. Sir, my last question is more on the long-term side. So, if you can just take a step back, if you can take a step and look at the 3-year or 5-year picture, where do you think we are headed? And like, will it be more niche products to improve on the margins, or will it be somewhat similar to today? And also, what are the plans to achieve? How are you going to achieve that?
We will, in next 5 years, we will add at least 2 new molecules in our manufacturing capability. And for that, our plan to achieve that is that, in our business, it is the product registration comes first before manufacturing. So we have already initiated the work on registering these products in the markets which we feel are more important for these new molecules which we want to manufacture. So along with process development work, registration work also has been initiated, and we are going to receive those registration in next 3 to 4 or 5 years. So they are lined up like that. So we will be able to then have new molecules in our basket in as far as manufacturing is concerned. And we want to grow almost, about 20% every year till then by adding our current capacity with the existing products, and then look at, further growth from new molecules.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you very much, sir, and all the very best for the coming quarter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who would like to ask questions, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Nitin Gandhi from KIFS Trade Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking question. This expansion of capacity, how much capex we are likely to do?
We are still working on the number. We will finish that working by end of the month. But on a broad basis, it will be something around 10 crore rupees we plan to spend on a new capacity. And because that is going to be not only on the manufacturing part, it will also include certain utilities which we will have to increase. So those numbers are yet to be finished. But it's about 10 crore rupees we will spend.
And what is the turnover expected out of this?
It will be almost in a year about 100 to 150 crore rupees it should add to the turnover with the additional capacity.
Now, you have almost 50% land surplus at this point of time.
Correct.
So how much you are likely to put to use in this expansion out of that?
I think once we finish this expansion, we will be able to have, after this, we will be able to have one more expansion of another new molecule which we plan to produce in future. And going beyond, we will have to look for a new site.
So that will be coming up after 2 or 2.5 years from now,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And that molecule which we are planning to register, what is normally the benchmark size, or what are the parameters on which those two products are? Can you share some
Those
light
are,
on that?
both are very niche products, which have markets in the countries in which we are already present with our other products. So we already have customer base in those countries, and that's how we have selected these products. These are niche products having very high margin. And but going forward, at the time of commercialization, the numbers may be completely different than what are existing numbers. But we are very confident we will be able to get the market share because we have existing customer base in those countries.
Are they around 200-300 crore product growing at 10-15%?
One of them is, and this second product is a relatively about smaller product, about 100 crore product.
And what's the growth rate for that?
The growth, it is currently growing at about 15% every year.
Okay, so both the products have 15% plus growth opportunity.
Yes. They are relatively new molecules, so they are at a growth stage right now.
Right. And you don't see much competition coming because of the size at which you are operating?
Yes. There will be competition. I don't say that there will not be competition, but we are ahead. We are ahead of time as far as competition is concerned. So, in as far as higher margins are concerned, if you are first, or second in the market, the margins are much better, and then slowly it tapers down.
Is the registration formalities and paperwork any threat for somebody else to pick up idea?
Yeah, we have initiated the registration for both the molecules, and but the timeline is different as the molecules profiles are different. So the registration process has been initiated already.
So you are ahead by at least 2 to 3 years.
I would say about 2 years.
Okay. Maybe it may be worth meeting you at the time being. Let's see when it can happen, but all the best.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Operator, I am through. Moderator.
Sure. Thank you. Participants who would like to ask questions, please press star, then 1. The next question is from the line of Milan Shah from Urmil Research Consultancy. Please go ahead.
Sir, and well, congratulations for good set of numbers. I want to know what is the percentage of export in current turnover, and when we are going to introduce new molecules, is going to increase the export percentage in turnover?
Current percentage of export is about 50%, because the contract manufacturing business right now is the product we are supplying locally. So that again, but eventually it is exported. But otherwise the export business is about 50%. But going forward with the new molecule introduction, both the new molecules are going to be export-oriented products. So whatever increased sale which we will achieve will be from export business.
Okay. So new molecule is only for export, or it is for domestic also?
There is domestic demand also for these molecules, but larger volume
come from exports.
Export, yes.
And what is the debt on balance sheet, sir? And any planning to?
At present, the debt total debt is about 7 crore, which we plan to bring it down significantly by March.
Okay. And for the expansion, are you going to for internal accruals, or it is for?
At the moment, no. At the moment, we are going to do the expansion with internal accruals, no further borrowing.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star, then 1. As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Ashit Dave for closing comments.
Thank you very much for everyone for attending the conference, and I'm looking forward to your support and participation in the coming quarters also. And, thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Emco Pesticides Limited, that concludes this conference. We thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.